Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It feels like I'm back in church. Everybody's in the back of the auditorium again, but well, welcome to the beginning of the 2016-27 academic year. If you haven't realized it yet, this is the beginning of our 90th year. We're welcoming our 90th freshman class here to MSUB. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you. I want to begin with some opening remarks from some of the other leaders on campus. So first I'll invite Greg DeSherry up. He's our ASMSUB Student Government President. He's a sophomore. Junior.
Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Greg DeSherry, and I am the Student Body President. A quick fact, I don't live in the state of Montana. I actually live in a small town in California called Willows. As Dr. Nook said, I am a junior going into my third year pretty much, studying health and human performance with a minor in coaching. I hope you're all excited to start this school year as I am. I look forward to working with all of you. And on behalf of the students, we appreciate the hard work and time that you put in to help us succeed in our aspects to get that degree or different dreams and goals in life. Some goals for Student Senate that we have are we're trying to get our name out to the students. Not a lot of students know that there is a student government on campus. So we want them to be able to, if they have any ideas or problems that they feel fit for us, that they could come talk to us and feel safe. On Constitution Day is September 17th, I believe, which is a Saturday. Around that day, we're deciding to do some different activities on campus, such as a library lecture series, which we're going to try to put forth. And also, we just got 3 or 4 boxes full of handbook constitutions that we'll be handing out to all the students and faculty. And on the last note, I look forward to working with all of you.
Thank you, Greg. Next up, Tiffany Gallant. Tiffany is Staff Senate Chair. She runs the welcome desk for us in McMullen, and she is the first smiling face that students and visitors encounter when they come to our campus. Tiffany?
So hello, constituents, fellow staff senators, and also our staff senate supporters. Again, like the Chancellor said, my name is Tiffany Gallant. So if you don't already know me from working at our information desk in New Student Services, I am also our staff senate chair for this year. So for those of you who are not familiar with Staff Senate, we are a group of elected staff members. Yes, you voted for us. And it is our job to assist in developing staff training programs and policies, to facilitate communication between our administrators and our staff members. We also promote the improvement of higher education to the state of Montana, as well as the working conditions and professional welfare of our staff members. So if you don't realize, this is a pretty big job, and honestly, we could not do it without the support of all of you. So I do want to give a big thank you to some of our constituents who recently submitted a constituent satisfaction survey that helped us to know what we are currently doing right, and then some of the things that we can improve on this year. Some of the feedback that we received are that people on campus really want to put faces to names with our staff senators. So I would like to ask, as I call our representatives of Staff Senate who have made it here today, if you could just stand and let people know who you are and put a face to your name. We have Karen Michelson. She represents our College of Allied Health Professionals and College of Arts and Sciences this year. Kathy Burke in our College of Business. Marilyn Hurlis in College of Education. Shelley Ovalle in the Extended Campus. Sherry Steiner, she is my vice chair this year, and she represents City College. Rebecca Emter is our secretary, and Julie Nicholas from Administrative Services. Daryl Williams from Administrative Central Services, and Gina Herbert. I know I saw Gina out there. She is our current treasurer, and she's our representative for Central Administration. Betty Erickson, Jackie Penninger, and myself all serve Student Affairs, and then Dean Miller and Jason Christofferson for Facility Services. So be on the lookout for these individuals to be making their way around campus next month for introductions. I'd also like to give a big thank you for all of you guys' continued support of our Staff Senate initiatives. So our events like staff tours and Bring Your Child to Work Day, Spirit Fridays, and the Ugly Holiday Sweater Party, ice cream socials and Spooktacular, and then of course our number of professional development opportunities. So if any of you have questions, comments, concerns, suggestions for Staff Senate, I would like to encourage you to visit our webpage, reach out to your staff senator, touch base with me directly. And then on behalf of the entire Staff Senate, we all look forward to serving our campus community and our staff members this fall semester, and hope you all have an excellent year.
Thanks, Tiffany. Please welcome Susan Gilbert, our Academic Senate Chair. She's a professor in environmental studies.
Thank you.
I didn't turn it off.
All right, there we go. I was just sitting there thinking that I taught my first course as a TA in 1984, which means I can look out here and probably 2/3 of the room I can say, I've been teaching college classes longer than you've been alive. A few of you are as old as me. All right. Senate is active in both overseeing and protecting curriculum. And so we look forward to your curricular ideas to come forward. As you know, probably there are different levels of change. We have a lot of leeway on our campus to change curriculum as long as we don't change program names and that kind of stuff. So please put your head to your curriculum this year and see what you would like to do that's innovative with curriculum. Bring that to us, and Senate will be very supportive, I think, of that. Also, if you have new programs in mind in the immediate future or long-term future, we need to be working with the provost office to make sure that those are on our long-term list and that we are starting to look at how we would move towards new programs. So please be thinking in those terms. I am available to come and talk to units, small or large, about Senate concerns. And as your Senate chair, I also serve on the Executive Budget Committee and the University Budget Committee. So if you have budget concerns, I'm happy to speak with units. I'm also happy to speak with individuals. So if you're hearing rumors and you don't know what to believe, come to me, and don't believe me either. But we can talk about things that are more likely and less likely to happen in the future. So those are resources. I'm a resource for you if you wish to come talk to me individually. Finally, I've been asked to announce that right after this meeting, we will have union meetings briefly. So if you're part of the either of the faculty unions, please stick around. Thank you.
Thank you. Susan didn't mention it, but she also serves on the Chancellor's cabinet, so she really is an excellent source of information for what's going on. Also, anybody that's on the cabinet, feel free to come and talk to us, ask questions. We want to make sure that you understand what is going on, and that's part of the point of today's presentation, to update you on where things are going, what we're planning to work on this next year. To start with, before we bring the lights down, I'd like to ask anybody that's a new employee, and by that I mean anybody that has started at MSU Billings City College, anywhere in this organization within the last 12 months. You weren't here last year at this time. Would you please stand up? Yeah, welcome to MSUB. The rest of you that were sitting down, I hope you looked around and picked one of them out to talk to during the picnic here in a little bit so that we can get them appropriately welcome to the Yellow Jacket family. But welcome again, and thank you for coming today. We have a few other people to introduce. We have a new president and CEO of the MSU Billings Foundation, Mr. Bill Kennedy. Bill, would you please stand? Bill received his baccalaureate degree from that other MSU institution. He received that in education, has a master's degree from MSU Billings in counseling. And he's done some education out in Colstrip, but he's been a long time county commissioner, restaurateur, caterer, and all-around do-gooder. So thank you, Bill, for joining us and helping us raise the money for many new projects on this campus. It is a little weird to stand here and have you that big looking over my shoulders, but welcome. Two other new, not so new faces, but in new leadership roles that I want to introduce. First, Stephanie Cowan. Thank you. Stephanie is an MSUB alum that majored in history just a couple of years ago, and has been working on this campus since that time, at this university since that time, most of it over at City College. And she's moving into the Director of Student Services leadership role at City College. And thank you very much for stepping into that role. Thank you, Stephanie. Also, Megan Thomas will be the interim director of the MSU Billings Library. Megan, thank you. Megan grew up here in Billings, went to senior high school, I believe, and then got an undergraduate degree in English over at Bozeman before getting a master's degree in library science at North Carolina Central University. And I guess you're taking over as the high priestess of the Temple of Knowledge, so congratulations. I do want to take a moment and say thank you to Brett for the work that he's done here at our campus and managing. Where you at, Brett? There he is. So he hasn't retired yet, so let me just see if this works. Library. Yeah, okay. You just make sure you leave that high priest hat for Megan before you leave, okay? Thanks. We wish you and your family the best. We're going to miss all of you. I'll certainly miss your son's piano performance again, so all the best to you and your family in your next professional adventure and your life on the East Coast. Thanks very much. Every year we talk a little bit about this being a great place to learn and look at some of the examples from the past year of things that have happened. The purpose of our university is to help each individual member of this community reach their full potential. By that, we mean that we want everyone to reach not just their educational and professional goals, but also their personal life goals. And we do that in a number of ways. And in the next few slides, we're going to look at some examples of both students and faculty and staff that have really epitomized that purpose, have lived that purpose, but have also demonstrated our mission and that commitment to excellence in teaching. That commitment to civic engagement, that commitment to both intellectual, cultural, social, and economic community enhancement. So let's look at a few things that have happened this past year that really do demonstrate that this university is committed both to its purpose and to its mission. We have a group of students that on this first one, Bessie Crookedarm, Sabrina Half, and Violet Birdingground, are last year's members of the American Indian Business Leaders team. They competed again nationally in a business plan competition for American Indian business students, and again won the national title. This is the 6th time. It's the 6th time that MSU Billings has brought home that title. This particular group developed a business plan around a book called Lily Goodpath Becomes the Buffalo. If you'd like a copy, I know you can talk to A.J. Otgen, and she has a bunch of them for you. It's a great little book. I can tell you it comes Brielle and Maddie approved. My 2 granddaughters think it's fantastic. A.J., by the way, did the artwork for the book. So congratulations to A.J. She is the advisor to the ABLE group, but congratulations to these 3 young women for putting together a business that's continuing to grow. Nick Nyhinke is a student out at City College in our welding program. I had a chance to talk to him this summer. He lives in Idaho. He grew up in Idaho, and he found us by looking around. He wanted to go into the best welding program he could find, and he came to City College. He found it to be highly rated and highly ranked, and he was part of this year's USA Skills group that's led by or advised by Kate Fow. Kate's here somewhere. Kate, where you at? There she is, in the middle. But Nick won the state welding competition up at Havre and then went on to the national competition in Kentucky, and he placed 2nd nationally in that competition. So congratulations to Nick and to Kate and the instructors at City College. That program is, it's not just taking 2 pieces of metal and stick them together. It's a multi-day event about reading plans and taking tests, as well as being able to take a plan and build what's in that plan accurately. So a very involved several-day competition. Cody Daly is at City College as well. He's a student in the process plant program working with Andrew Sullivan, and he is our student worker of the year. He's also been involved in a research project with Dr. Sullivan. They had a little problem with their computer systems and the software, some changes and things, and Cody is the one that sat down and figured it out and rebuilt the system so that they could control all of their process plant instrumentation. It was really a major project. It was a great opportunity for him here to have an opportunity to talk to the governor and tell him about his research project and the things that he's gone through to get to this point in his life. And if you look real close at this slide, you can see that Bob and I are extremely happy that the governor is at this event. But it really was Cody did an excellent job of describing his work to the governor. And Andy, thank you very much for your work with Cody. He's doing a great job. We also reach out to our community and help build our communities. And this year, the community of Miles City came to our marketing program and said, we need some help attracting businesses to downtown Miles City. And a group of marketing students working with A.J. Otgen put together a marketing program and created a couple videos, working with some professional videographers for Miles City downtown. I hadn't seen this anywhere before, so I thought I'd share it with you so you could see some of the work our students are doing.
Out here it's quiet. It's a place for folks spread out. But just over the hill, there's a pulse, a source of life. It's a rhythm as deep as our roots. Downtown, heart of our prairie, our big sky, the heart of home.
Great video. Thanks a lot, AJ, for working with these students and bringing them to that point. There's a lot of great things in that video, but the one that caught my eye is that kid that got off his bicycle and he's wearing spurs. I can't imagine riding a bicycle with spurs on, but turning a little bit to athletics, we've had some real success with our athletic teams in the classroom this year. That's always been the case, but I always like to bring these to the attention of the community as well. We often hear their scores reported and see the things that they've done on the court or the field or wherever, but we don't often take time to think about how are they doing in the classroom, because most of them are not going to go on in athletics after they leave here, except maybe as coaches and amateur players and pickup games. But these two teams, our men's baseball team and our women's golf team, finished as GNAC academic champions, which means they had the highest GPAs in their respective sports. The women's golf team, golf has been a GNAC sport for 6 years. MSUB has had the academic champion 3 of those 6 years. This year's team had a GPA of 3.62, which is pretty good. The baseball team, this is the 3rd year in a row that they're the academic conference champions. 3.28 collective GPA. One of the young men on this team, Drew Christina, graduated this past spring. Summa cum laude, which means he had a 4.0 GPA and his major was chemistry. One of the other young men on this team, a sophomore, Adam Cox, he didn't graduate. Sophomore with a 3.68 GPA. Both Adam and Drew were named to the all-region academic baseball team. So congratulations to the baseball program as well. Each of our individual athletes are also eligible to be academic all-conference, and there's one that I want to spend just a little bit of time with. She graduated this past year. Her name's Janice Osborne. She was in cross-country and indoor and outdoor track and field, and over the course of the 4 years that she was here, she made academic all-conference every single year, 4-year academic all-conference, so just a tremendous record. She graduated this spring in Health and Human Performance with a 3.927. I don't know who gave her an A-, but it's a 3.927 GPA. So congratulations to the cross-country team and to Janice. Yeah. They have done an excellent job in the classroom, but they've also done an excellent job on the field and the track and the courts as well. And I want to update you on just a few things from this past year. These two individuals in particular, Robert Peterson was a cross-country indoor and outdoor track athlete. He's been qualified for nationals in all of those. This year he won the GNAC mile in a time of 4 minutes and 10 seconds, which is pretty incredible. He qualified for nationals in the outdoor track meet in the 3,000-meter steeplechase. He moved through the early rounds and into the semifinals and just missed making the finals, but has had just a stellar career and owns, I think, 8 of the records on the MSUB track team. Della Lyle is a very interesting young woman. She grew up in Buffalo, Wyoming, and went to the University of Redlands. She graduated from there and had only used 3 years of her eligibility. She enrolled here and is a master's degree student in psychology. But because she had a year of eligibility left, she decided to compete in cross-country and indoor and outdoor track and field. And in that single year now owns 5 MSUB track and field records. She qualified also in the 3,000-meter steeplechase for the National Track and Field meet. And in that meet, she moved through the semifinals into the finals. She ended up finishing 9th, just behind a fellow GNAC participant. But that was good enough for her to earn All-American status, and she was the first female track and field athlete to earn All-American status. So congratulations to Della. Our baseball team this year was the GNAC co-champion on the field. It's the 2nd year in a row that they have won the championship. Unfortunately, Coach Rob Bishop has taken a job at South Dakota State University to lead their baseball team. It's a Division I program. And again, I certainly want to wish him the best. He's done a phenomenal job in turning this program around. One of the things I heard early on when I got here from faculty is, our athletes are great, but baseball needs some work. Well, Rob was just starting to get things turned around at that time. The last 3 years, they have been the top performing academic team in the conference in baseball. And 2 of those 3 years, they've won the championship as well. There are very few teams that win both the academic and the on-the-field championship. So congratulations to Rob and Parker Kruckenberg, the assistant coach. Thank you. Our women's basketball team this year finished 3rd in the conference, but through their play, especially in the GNAC tournament, they were asked and earned a bid in the group of 64 teams nationally to play in the national tournament. Unfortunately, they lost that first-round game in Ontario, California, but they had really a fantastic season, bounced back from a season that was a little bit below average for them, and really had a great season, both on the court but also in the classroom. They had a team GPA of 3.58, and as far as we can tell, they still have, since Coach Wooden has been here, a 100% 6-year graduation rate, which is phenomenal. One of the things that we track all the time is what happens to our students 6 months after they graduate. And what we find in that survey that's done by Career Services is that typically 97% to 98% of our students are employed 6 months after graduation. 80 to 85% of them are employed in Montana, and 50 to 55% of them are employed in Billings itself. And while they go off, so we're clearly educating them for that first job and getting into that career and getting started in their professional lives and doing a great job at that. The Billings Gazette publishes this 40 Under 40 every year, which is a group of 40 individuals that are nominated and then vetted as people who are making a difference in the community of Billings and really becoming young leaders, not just in their professions, but in the community. As you can see, 12 of those 40, 30%, are MSUB alums. Congratulations to the faculty and staff. Our own athletic director, Krista Montague, was among them this year. Krista's in here somewhere. Krista, where are you at? Oh, clear in the back. Yeah, congratulations, Krista. I hadn't noticed it until Carmen put this slide together for me, but 10 of the 12 are female. We just started this thing called the Women's Center. I think we've been doing some pretty good work building women leaders on this campus for a long time if we can get women already moved into this position. So from my perspective, it's a great honor to be at an institution that really is developing leaders of all kinds, but moving forward with the women in this campus. Thank you. Some faculty. So these students are going out and doing great things in our classroom, on our athletic teams. They're also going out from here and getting good jobs to start off and then moving into leadership roles. I want to point out one of our alums just moved into a new leadership role in the past year as well, and that's Marcy Much. She was a business major while she was here. She's just been appointed about a year ago at this time, the Chief Financial Officer at First Interstate Bank. So she's doing okay. So we're doing all right in not just moving them into early leadership, but into senior leadership at very important organizations in our area and region. Suzette Ninus is a professor in athletic training and directs the program for us. She, this year, was recognized by the National Athletic Training Association for her commitment of service. They recognize a few individuals every year for their volunteer service to the field and to their communities. Suzette has done a great job in building our athletic training program, but also in building a relationship with our community by reaching out to them. Suzette's one of the first persons I ever heard about at this institution. Just after I was named the chancellor, I was still back in Madison, and they had an alumni event for me. Sarah Brockle put together an alumni event that Cheryl and I attended at a bar, imagine that in Wisconsin, but at a bar in Wisconsin. And the person that was the brewmaster there was one of Suzette's students. He was an athletic training student that is now a brewmaster. But he said that Suzette made a huge difference in getting him where he was. He just fell in love with this institution. He ended up spending a lot of time down at the Yellowstone Brewery and learned to become a brewmaster as well. So again, building some of those relations with the downtown and the businesses as well. But Suzette, congratulations on the award, and thank you for the work that you do with our students. Sam Borboom, stand up, wave at everybody. Sam's in the front. Melissa's down here too. Just stand up a minute. Yeah. They just had a book published in the last year, The Political Language of Food. Sam and Melissa are in the Communication Theater program, assistant professors there, and they also were contributors to our library lecture series last year and gave an excellent talk about the political language. I looked at this book while I was preparing this, and I noticed that ear of corn on the front, and what many of you may not know is that Sam grew up in this town called Marshall, Minnesota, that I know a little bit about. And Marshall is in the Great Plains of the United States, and there's a lot of corn grown there. It's the home of Schwann's ice cream, right? It's the home of Tony's Pizza. It's also the home to a major corn ethanol plant. So I thought this picture of corn, and I know that's supposed to be a husk, but if you've ever been in Marshall and smelled it when the north wind is blowing, there's a fume that goes across town. I thought that was probably had a little, the discussions around building that plant were very political, and it was about food versus fuel and everything else. But congratulations to Sam and Melissa on a great book. Many of you probably received in the mail, and if you haven't, there's plenty of copies sitting in the entryway to the auditorium, Peaks to Plains. If you look close, it's Volume 1, Edition 1. We haven't produced Peaks to Plains in the past. It's been several years since we've had a magazine to get the information and news out about MSU Billings and the great things going on here, what our alumni are doing, what our faculty are doing, what our staff are doing. One of the things that we heard just after we got here, actually someone told Sarah Brockle, I never hear from the university except when they're asking for money. And so we thought about that a little bit, and we looked at what we were doing. We do a great job of getting news stories out and things in the paper, but we didn't have a way to get information out about, collectively what's going on here and paint a picture in context and get some really large stories out. So we created Peaks to Plain, and I want to thank Aaron Klinging-Smith in particular, Carmen Price, and Haley Van Atta. She gave us a great deal of support and help in bringing this thing together. This thing went from an idea to a publication in under 6 months. So it was really amazing to see it come together. If you have comments on it, suggestions, recommendations, by all means, let us know. We want to improve this and make sure that we're telling MSUB's story. We're starting to get feedback from alumni and donors that have received this, people downtown, and they're very supportive of what we're trying to do with it. But as I was talking with Rachel and Deborah earlier this week, Schaefer, and they said, oh, this is our brag rag. So yeah, this is our brag rag. We need to brag, right? We can't be modest. We can't be too humble. We've got to get our story out there. We've got to let people know what's going on here, the great work that you're doing with our students and the great work that our alumni are doing. We'll talk about a couple of the stories that are in there. Kurt Tonjes and David Butler a few years ago had a patent on one of their some of the antifungal work that they were doing. And then over the last few years, working with Joy Gofina, who is a lab manager and a research associate in the department, have put together another patent application and just received word that the second patent will be issued soon. And so MSUB now has 2 patents thanks to the works of Kurt and David. I know David's here. David, where are you at? Joy? Are you here? David and Joy? They're sitting in the back waving. unfortunately, Kurt can't be with us. His father's quite ill, and he's back in California with his mother and his father and helping him recuperate and figure out some of the medical issues that are involved. So our thoughts are certainly with Kurt and his family at this time. But congratulations again on the patent and the work that you've done. So several of the stories that are in here are about things that faculty and students are doing together and the work that's going on. Some of it, though, is some updates on our alums. There are two updates in here, one on Alex Tyson that I hope you'll take a time to read. The other is on Mark Swanson, who is a College of Education alum that is working in Alaska, and he has been named Alaska's Teacher of the Year. When he left here, he went up to Alaska, and he was a bush teacher. I mean, that's how he describes it. But read that story. His responses to some of those interview questions are worth the read. But congratulations to the College of Ed on turning out another great graduate. There are a lot of them out there, but it's nice to have this example in print for people to see. Well, last year, when I first got here, the Pippinger Awards was usually given at this time. And for various reasons, we decided to move that to coincide with the Outstanding Faculty and Faculty Excellence Awards. And this past year, the Pippinger Awards went to Derek McCaskill and Jason McGimsey in Facilities, and San Francisco Saldivar out at City College for the solar energy project that they worked on. It put up solar energy panels, but more importantly, it's a way for students to engage with these panels and to learn more about alternative energy and solar energy and how to control it and how to take care of these things, maintain solar collectors and projectors. I saw Francisco earlier. Is he here, or Derek, or Jason? There's Francisco. Yeah, congratulations. Another great accomplishment this last year, we got a $1.4 million grant. That's always worth celebrating. The Department of Education has continued to fund our educational talent search program through the TRIO program. Dan Bengi and his group. Dan, where are you and your colleagues? Please stand. Hiding in the back. Yeah, Dan, congratulations to all of you. This program works with middle school and high school kids, especially of low income but at-risk populations that generally don't go on to college. But when they get into this program, 71% of them end up going to school and 43% of them end up graduating within 6 years of the time that they matriculate. It's a phenomenal way to help students prepare for college, enter college, and be successful when they get there. Several of the students that Dan has worked with through this program have come here and ended up being mentors, mentors in that program. So congratulations, Dan, and to you and your staff. Thank you for the work you do in preparing students to go to universities. Thank you. I know that many of you have probably seen a commercial or seen the electronic billboard on high school connections that have been around. I want to take just a little bit of time and talk about that because it really is a three-prong program. And everybody has heard about one of those, and that's that it's free. But that's the least important point from my perspective. When we started to work on this and approached about operating a pilot program that would allow students to engage in these courses in their high schools and not have to pay the tuition, so that sounds like a great idea, but it's pretty limited. What we're really trying to do is expand this opportunity to students, and by going to zero tuition, the thought was we'd get more students, especially low-income students, to say, I could do that. But a group of us on this campus really realized the real problem wasn't the cost, it was the availability. There weren't enough teachers with the credentials to be able to teach these courses. So what we're going to do, one of the third leg of this thing, one of them is the free, the other is lots of marketing, which you've probably seen. The third is preparing more teachers to have credentials to be able to effectively teach a college-level course in a high school. In this state, to be able to do that, you need a master's degree and you need at least 9 credits in that discipline. And so what we have worked out, the second leg of that, the third leg of that, is to develop a set of graduate certificates of 9 credits that would help teachers throughout the state get that credentialing. We've got a lot of teachers with master's degrees, but not with the credentials or the credits in the area. So Provost Hoare will be working with the deans and with department chairs to develop 2 9-credit certificate programs at the graduate level. These aren't full-blown master's degrees, but there'll be 9 credits of graduate level courses to help teachers get the background they need to be able to effectively teach these courses. With luck, we'll be able to do most of this online. If we have to do some of it face-to-face, of course, we can do those probably more effectively in the summer, maybe some things over the computer, Skype, and things of that sort. But if we're really going to address and pick up and get more students involved, we're going to have more teachers adequately prepared. And from my perspective, that's the most important part of this. And it will give some of us in this room and at this campus an opportunity to develop graduate level courses and teach at the graduate level when we might not otherwise. And I know that's always an exciting opportunity. So watch for things from Provost Hoare and think about developing how this might work in programs that you work with.
Don't you love it when one thing can serve dual purposes?
This is the commercial.
Well, you can save time and money in college with High School Connections, MSU Billings dual enrollment program. Choose from dozens of interesting courses to take at your high school and simultaneously earn college credits good at MSUB, City College, and other accredited schools. Plus, for this school year only, tuition for High School Connections is free for Billings students. To learn more or apply, visit msubillings.edu/connections.
So out of all of these, I hope that you can see that our purpose of helping every member of our community, university community, reach their full potential, that is, meet their educational goals, their professional goals, and their personal life goals, is a lived experience amongst our faculty, our staff, and our students. This is a university that truly is committed to its purpose and truly committed to its mission, and it shows up in a few examples that I've been able to share today. But as I've met with students across campus and met with alumni, met with faculty and staff, it's clear that it isn't just a handful of individuals that are that way. It really is a commitment by this campus. And for the new faculty and staff that are joining us, I think you'll see that and feel it amongst your colleagues. I hope that you'll see it amongst your students and come to embrace that commitment to our students and to helping them reach their goals, both educational, professional, and personal life goals, and build those out throughout our community and our region. As we move forward for this year, I want to talk a little bit about 3 priorities that will probably take a great deal of my time and that I hope to help focus the university around in the big picture. And these will be our improving student success, planning for our future, and funding Yellowstone Science and Allied Health Building. In the fall of 2014, we created the Student Success Committee, and they met for a year and then delivered their report this past October of 2015. I really want to thank the committee for that, and especially Matt Redinger for leading that committee. It was a Herculean task to sit down and glean through what's going on out there, what's going on here, and then think about, given the culture and the type of institution we are, what do we need to do first? What are our highest priorities to take on to try to improve the quality of education, the success of our students academically on campus, and then also when they leave here? And they identified really 2 key areas, those being addressing gateway courses and a holistic multi-tiered advising program. And in addressing the gateway courses, what they're really talking about is those courses that students take, especially in their first year, and almost everybody has to take them, or at least a large group of students have to take them, and they have a relatively high D, F, W, or I rate. So the percentage of students that will receive one of those grades is relatively high compared to other courses on campus. The other thing that gateway courses are is that, there are a lot of courses that might have that, but it doesn't have a big impact on whether or not a student moves on. But some of these courses, if a student pulls a low grade in them, will give up, will quit, because they have to have that course or because it's important to their major. And so we have joined the Gateways to Completion program with the Gardner Institute. We talked about it a little bit last year, but it's really picking up. The data has been collected. We've got a handful of faculty who have stepped up to look at their courses and see whether or not they might redesign them, what the pedagogy is, what levels of added support to students we might be able to add to make sure that a larger portion of those students hit the bar that is already there. This isn't about lowering our rigor, it's about maintaining the rigor, but helping and supporting more students over that bar. And we'll have an opportunity to talk to John Gardner here in the next 2 days, who oversees the Gardner Institute and Gateways to Completion. In the holistic multi-tiered advising, we've already started to develop one of these, and that's the MSU Tailored Early Alert System. Some of our programs already have it. I know athletics uses one, and a few other departments use this, but this is about campus-wide developing a way to identify students, one, before they enroll, who are likely to encounter difficulties and be ready to help them. We already do this in the TRIO SSS program. How can we build that out across our campus and to more students? But it's also about catching students early in a class and letting them know that their behaviors are letting us know that they're not likely to be successful, and get that information back to an advisor, right? So that we can start to make some of the corrections and help those students get into the programs and support structures that they need. This report was delivered last October. We've already started to move on the early alert, started to talk about some of the things in the advising procedures, but we've really started to work on these gateways, the gateway courses, and get that program set up. We're going to follow through on the recommendations that committee brought forward, and we'll continue to look for other things. We've put $750,000 this year into student success commitments and improving the quality of experiences that our students have, so more of them stay around for their second year, third year, and fourth year, and most importantly, graduate. I want to point out that retention, and we'll talk about retention a little bit, is really just a symptom, right? It's a little like measuring your blood pressure. It doesn't tell you what's wrong, it just tells you something isn't the way you would like it. So retention isn't the important thing, education is, but retention is an indicator. So let's look at retention just a little bit. This is my favorite graph. I've got to get an art student to make this for my office. So yeah, I'm a data geek, but you all knew that. What this is, we've taken 11 peer institutions and looked at their retention rates over time from about 2002 through the 2013 cohort. That's the last one we have data for from our peers. We have our own going out one more year. Our data is, somewhere on here there's a laser, is this red line, big and bold. And you can see back here a ways we're kind of in the middle and we've moved to the wrong end. And you know, this is really hard for most people to make any sense of. So I asked Joanne and Michael in IR to help us out a little bit. And this line in the middle is the average of those 11 peers. And this is one standard deviation above, and this is one standard deviation below. And as Provost Horst says, you can see we used to kind of swim in the middle of the river, but now we're standing on the wrong bank. And we are. Our retention rate compared to our peers, and these are institutions that are similar to us. There's no institution that's identical, but they're recruiting similar students in terms of their ACT score and their high school class rank, similar economic backgrounds and racial mixes and things of that sort, the things that can impact this. And you can see that since really 2005, as we moved through an enrollment bump with the Great Depression, a Great Recession, our retention rate started to falter. And this one really occurred, this is 2012, 13, and 14. We had to drop off a little bit because of the announcement of what was going on with our budgets. But we've also had a hot economy and people are going to work. But our retentions are not where any of us want them to be. Last year, during the years, we found our 2014 cohort retention. I announced a goal for the university that for the cohort of 2019, we would be at 65%, which would put us pretty close to what is the current mean of our peers. And it's only 2 percentage points higher than these peaks. So it's very doable for our institution, but it's 12 percentage points higher than our 2013, and that's a big lift. but we've got to make a commitment to raising this retention rate, because the other way to look at this is that 52.6% retention means that 47.4% of the students that start with us don't make it to their second year. And that's not really something that any of us, I think, would feel comfortable with. Clearly, with the way other institutions like us are performing, we should be above 60%, and I'm asking us to consider a goal of 70% by the time we reach our centennial year, the class of 2026. Right? That will put us in a very good place, as long as these people don't keep going like that, right? But 70% is a good retention rate for an institution of our size and our mission. There are some other data. We often look at 6-year graduation rates, and I'm not going to throw up the big one with all the lines in it, but this is the same diagram with this being the mean or the average of the peer distribution, one standard deviation above and below, and the heavy red line is us. I don't know what happened back here, but it's long enough ago that it probably isn't relevant. We've been holding in the middle, but we're running a little low. It is best for us to focus on our retention rate, because if we get more students to the second year, we'll get more students to the third, to the fourth, and to the fifth. If we get the 10% bump in retention, it amounts to over 150 FTE students. It's one of the quickest ways we can impact our enrollment and hence our budget, is if we'll pay attention to retention and get more students through. That's the real purpose of the Student Success Committee and the programs that we're implementing out of that, and the reason that we put $750,000 behind these sorts of initiatives this year is so that we can keep more of the students here and active. As we move closer to our centennial, as I said when we opened, this is our 90th year. It's the beginning of our 90th year. We're welcoming the 90th freshman class. That means in 10 years, we will open our centennial year, our 100th year, fall of 2026. As we prepare for that, we need to start to plan and make sure that we set a university on a course that is ready to meet the needs of our students for 30 to 40 years after that. Not just plan to be able to meet the needs of our students in 10 years, but plan to create an institution that meets the needs of the people of Eastern Montana for 30 to 40 years after that. In other words, lay the foundation for the type of institution that Eastern Montana, Billings, Yellowstone County needs to serve this region, economically, culturally, socially, and intellectually, as our mission statement says, right? And drive that. We're going to be engaging some community members in discussions about what they need from this. We will be appointing a 10 to 12 member strategic planning committee. We'll wait until just after the beginning of this fall to do that, because I want to meet with the faculty senate and other groups to figure out the exact structure of that committee. It will involve some community members. It will involve faculty. It will involve staff. It may even involve an administrator. But get a good representation of the university. This will be an ongoing committee. It's never going away. It won't be a sentence for life if you end up on it, right? It's sort of like faculty senate. People will roll through it, but we do need this committee to stick around, because this isn't about drafting a strategic plan. It's about making planning part of what we do, so that as we create a strategic plan, we then have a committee that is in charge of watching over and holding administration, faculty senate, academic senate, student senate, staff senate accountable for making sure that the plan is lived and that the plan is accomplished over that period. Things will change. We need the strategic planning committee to stay on top of that and to make corrections. But we'll be in a bad place if we simply create a plan and no one oversees it except the provost or the chancellor. We need the university committed to this. One of the really important aspects to me about this plan is another thing that we'll be doing this year, and that's assessment of our academic programs and other programs as part of our development or preparation for our Northwest Consortium of Colleges and University accreditation visit. We do assessment for one and only one reason: to improve our quality. We send those results on to Northwest. That's the attitude we need to have, right? That we do assessment, we look at ourselves, we check what we're doing so that we can get better, and we send those results on, right? We don't do assessment so that we can pass accreditation. And if we have a good strategic plan and we know what it's like and we all agree we're going in the same direction and we assess how we're doing relative to that, this assessment won't be a challenge. It'll simply be a natural part of us. And our steering committee, strategic planning steering committee, will help lead that and keep that moving along. So it fits very well with what we need to do as a part of our accreditation process, but more importantly, it helps us build out the university that will serve this region. The other big priority that we have is funding Yellowstone Hall. Yellowstone, well, I can't call it that. I'm sorry, Bobby. It's the Yellowstone Science and Allied Health Building. We are trying to get the old language out. The Yellowstone Science and Allied Health Building is a game changer, and I consider it one of the cornerstones for the foundation for the next century. With this building, we will be able to attract more students. Our campus will have a different presence. There will be a lot of stories and talk and communication around this building, and it will build a buzz. And that's going to be important to recruiting new students. More students, students of a higher caliber as well, not because it's necessarily science and allied health, but because it's a new building, and this looks now like there's a new vibrancy because of a new facility. We've had a little trouble getting going on this, and I really want to thank Bobby Anner Hughes and Dave Warren. Would the two of you stand up, please? Bobby Anner Hughes and Dave Warren. We can't thank them enough. They're both alums, English and theater majors, right? Yeah. But they are the past chair and current chair of the foundation board. And over the last year in particular, I can't even begin to think of the number of hours that they've put in as we made the transition in getting Bill here. But in developing and starting to say, we've got to get Yellowstone Hall done. How do we do it? And we've put together a tactical team, and we've started to put things together. And you see some T-shirts out there that say, I'm in, are you? They look like chemical signs. It's kind of cool. They're right. Kurt Tonjes is going to look great in one of these. It's just his kind of shirt. I've got one for later. But they've we've just recently put together a video that we're going to use when we go out and meet with potential donors about Yellowstone Hall and to meet with people in the community to build a buzz around funding Yellowstone Hall. And I'd like you to see it. This is a rough cut. This isn't the final, but it's pretty good.
Montana State University Billings is 10 years from its centennial. It's our chance now to sit back and take some time and look to our future and decide where this institution is going and where we need to be 10 years from now so that we can serve Eastern Montana for the next 30 or 40 years following. This building is going to serve careers in healthcare administration, rehabilitation counseling, health and human performances in the allied health fields. In the sciences fields, it will include biology, chemistry, physics, pre-engineering, and pre-medicine.
The renovated and expanded building will provide our students with a cutting-edge place to develop a better understanding of science, to establish work ethics and skill sets that they can take with them whether they go into the workforce or whether they go on to continue their education.
Well, I believe that it's important to provide the professors at MSUB who are attempting to generate potentially patentable inventions with the facilities and the resources they need, not only to employ students in their labs, but to develop inventions that might lead to spin-off businesses, startup businesses, and contribute to economic development in Billings and this part of the state in particular.
My quick speech on allied health is we're everything except physicians. The allied health professions are all of the support professions that are in healthcare throughout the entire system.
Having a facility located in the city to train scientists or future physicians or future medical professionals who can then return to Billings and practice in the community is incredibly important.
Having one place for the science and allied health professions to be educated in one area is very important. And the lack of space, the labs are outdated, the technology that we need, as well as just the overcrowding to allow more students to experience this great school.
When I would go to class in the old building, I immediately felt sorry for my instructors because I felt like they were trying to reach and attain, and they were reaching and attaining a super high expectation, but the resources were just not up to par.
They are working with an antiquated building with no space, with no possibility for adding new equipment and new programs. But having a new science building would be so important to be able to attract the type of students and be able to better help the students that attend MSUB now.
We have seen the STEM programs in the high schools really accelerate, and if we don't do our part to support the sciences, I really think that we're missing an opportunity.
I think the most important aspect of this is that it's good for our economy here in Billings. We are improving the quality of education, the types of education that can be provided at MSU Billings, and all that does is provide growth and quality workforce for our community.
I think too, from that perspective, when I went to college, when we both were in college, I was in this building, and the professors were absolutely amazing, but you did look around the building and it's dated.
At the Chamber and through Visit Billings, we see sports recruitment as a significant part of our economy and our growth. Through the Allied Health Program and sport-specific training opportunities, there's going to be an opportunity for us to grow and to ideally bring in more conventions and more sports-related programs.
I think that the science building project now is a new step forward and lends more growth and more excitement, not just to the university, but to the Billings community as a whole.
My message to other businesses is Stillwater Mining Company got into this early, and we saw the 2-for-1 match as a very positive feature, but everybody is going to be mutually benefited by a new science building, and beyond that, a expanded campus.
So when a university invests in new programs, new building, new facilities, the private sector is paying attention to that. We have to have a growing, exciting university. It's the rock in the pond that stimulates all kinds of additional private investment and job creation in our community. Now's the time.
Your investment today is an investment in the future for Montana State University Billings. I will help you any way I can. Give me a call, write me, email me, or stop at the foundation. And with your contribution, we'll be able to go forward. Thank you.
Makes me feel kind of good about being here, right? It's a great video, and I want to thank Spotlight Productions for putting this together. It really is a rough cut. There's going to be a lot done with it. We're going to have smaller pieces and some focused pieces, so when we're talking to the medical community and people really interested in allied health fields, it'll be a little more focused for them. But a lot of opportunities here to really get people on board. Many of the people that appeared in this video are alumni, and I think many of you recognize them, some faculty and staff as well. But several of them were not. They're people that are just really committed to MSU Billings, and in particular this project. And so it's good to see that level of community support. We've got several community members here as well, either on the foundation board or others. If you're a community member, and Lynette, I'm including you in this even though you work for us from time to time, would you please stand up and let us recognize you? Thanks for coming out, and thanks for supporting this university. So a few special events coming up, in some near term and some a little bit longer this fall. First of all, tomorrow and the next day is an opportunity for us to really focus on student success. We're bringing in John Gardner. He is the national expert on student success, the first year experience, the sophomore year experience, the senior experience. students in transitions. He started it all at the University of South Carolina. He's a history professor. He's taught history. He's taught Western civilization. He's lectured on just about every topic in student personnel growth and development, as well as student success. Very happy to have John coming in and working with us. There'll be 4 plenary sessions and a lot of just get your hands dirty and work on stuff sessions as well. And I want to thank Matt Redinger for his work in pulling this together and getting John here for us, and not having to send groups of 10 or 15 out to these conferences all the time, but get him here and get all of us engaged. So your attendance at this is strongly encouraged. John's a soft-spoken person that whenever you hear him speak, you just want to stop and listen. He's a great communicator, and no one knows more about what he's talking about when it comes to student success and student engagement than John does. Tremendous individual. Very excited to have him on our campus. So please join us in the next 2 days, regardless of your position in this university. Our Evening With series, it started out first with Rudy Giuliani and then Terry Bradshaw, and this year our speaker will be Henry Winkler. It is our opportunity to induct the next group of the Montana Business Hall of Fame. We have 3 people that we will be inducting this year. The event will be October 11th. And we'll have the location soon because I don't know it off the top of my head. Henry, I know everybody thinks of Henry as the Fonz, but he is so much more. I mean, recently, over the more than the last decade, he has been writing children's novels. Henry has a learning disability, and his path through school was not easy, and he loves to talk about that and talk about children who are facing those same sorts of examples, the same sort of problems. And so he often will address how, the leadership that's required, the mentorship that's required, and the commitment that you have to make to students. So I'm really looking forward to having an opportunity to hear Henry speak at this conference to business leaders as well from throughout eastern Montana. You can, of course, buy a ticket. We've got those available as well for that evening. But it should be a great night, and we'll honor some really fantastic Montana business people at that event. The Fall Library Lecture Series is coming up as well. It starts October 18th. The 1880 Crow delegation to Washington, D.C. We have some faculty and staff that are presenting. We also have people from Little Bighorn College and the Alberta Bear Museum, as well as a few others. So put these on your calendar and come out. These have really become a phenomenal series on our campus. I've attended as many of them as possible, and they're almost always full. I've never seen one where the room wasn't at least half full. So come out and learn a little bit about the Crow delegation to Washington, D.C. Again, starting October 18th and running for 5 consecutive weeks. The Northcutt Steel Gallery has their exhibition series out already. Nishika Sagawara will be presenting. Wendy Red Star. Wendy will also be one of the presenters for the lecture series, and then Neil Chappett and Keith Graham will be presenting photographs of one-room schools in Montana. So some great opportunities. The music department is also going to have a series out, and so those announcements will be coming out soon as to exactly when those events are. John Roberts stopped by my office at like 3:10 and handed me his new CD that is the result of his CARE grant. It's a soul piece. I haven't had a chance to read it yet, or hear it yet, Haven't had a chance to hear it yet, but John's the one behind it, so I know it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to popping it into the player and hearing what's there. If you want more information, John, where you at? He was here. There he is. Talk to John, and he'll hook you up with one of the new CDs. But thanks for bringing it by. I really appreciate it. Some things coming up recently in the very, very near future. MSUB picnic as soon as I stop talking. Congressional debate September 1st, night at the Mustangs, also September 1st and at the same time. Movers and Shakers coming up a week from Sunday, so help our students move in. This is a lot of fun. You can work for a 2-hour period, helps carry stuff up to people's rooms, but more importantly, get an opportunity to talk to these students, talk to their families, learn a little bit about them. It's a lot of fun to get out and learn about them. Carrying the stuff up isn't so much fun, but learning what they're doing is a great time. This year, the 9/11 Memorial is a special event. It's the 15th anniversary. We'll have some special displays up. It will happen at 2:30 in the afternoon out at City College at our memorial. It looks like we may have a flyover as well at that time, and many of the displays will be up for the remainder of that week. And then September 19th, it is arranged to have the gubernatorial debate. Both the congressional debate and the gubernatorial debate will be right here. If you're interested in attending that gubernatorial debate, come early or get your ticket bought early, because I think it's going to be packed. It's shaping up as an interesting election season, and I'm stopping there. I want to say thank you to several people, and I'm going to leave some people out, but Aaron Klinging-Smith and Patrick Williams and Carmen Price in University Relations, I can't put anything like this together without their help, so thank you to them. And in IT, Michael, Rob Massey, Brett Wise, and especially Joanne Stryker, just a phenomenal job in helping us get all of the electronics put together, but also some of those really pretty graphs and things of that sort. Here, Brandy Sowens and Kristen Peterman, Colton Adams, thank you for your support. And is Brandy Sowens here? Can I see her? You're in the ticket booth. Brandy, happy birthday. Congratulations on the 28th. Yeah. And I want to thank all of you. As I've said, this is an institution that really is committed to its purpose and to its mission. You can see it. You can feel it. Our students know it. You can see it in some of the things that we've talked about. You can see it in our commitment to the buildings, to the grounds. But that happens because of the people. A university isn't a collection of facilities. It's really a collection of people. And the things that happen are because of you. And we're making a real difference in people's lives. They are, as the one student said in an earlier video from last year, going out and changing the world in some important ways. And that's all thanks to you. You have made an impact on their lives. And I was thinking about this a little bit. We think about impacting a student's life, and we can see it. That student comes back and talks to us. We see the growth they have in the 4 or 5 or 6 years that they're here. They come in as fresh and young, and they leave as these professionals committed to ideals that they may not even have known were out there before. But it's sort of like the economy. We say that MSUB is an $85 million operation with a $350 million economic impact because there's a factor of 4 in the way it's paid out. But if you think about what we do with students' lives and the payout on that as they raise their families, as they go into their communities and they take what they know and they contribute to their community, the payout is much, much bigger than 4 times. And it's very, very difficult to see how far reach that one comment you make to a student to support them, that one comment of encouragement, that one comment of, geez, that was a great job you did, can just continue to build throughout the community. As Steve Arviskow said, that rock in the pond that just continues to ripple. And so I want to thank you for your dedication to our students and to this institution, to this community. I really appreciate it. And the community does too, and I hope you can hear it in the voices of the people that were on that video. So thank you very much. One last comment on Yellowstone Science and Allied Health Building. We need your help. One of the things we're going to be doing is reaching out to foundations and to donors. And one of the questions we're always asked is, how committed is the institution to this? How many people have given? And so we're going to ask you to consider to give $1 per pay period. Consider it, right? No one's going to watch, no one's going to check. But if we can say that 90% or 100% of the employees have contributed to the project, they don't ever ask us how much, have contributed, that means so much to the foundations when we send those grants in. And so we're going to have some unique ways for you to do that, whether it is through the annual campaign. You can sign up to actually donate $1 or $2 or $1,000 per pay period to the Yellowstone Hall. But the others is you see these gray shirts that a few people, if you've got on one of the I'm in, are you shirts, would you stand up? All right. You see these shirts around. Okay, those people work for the foundation. But for $30, you can be in too and have one of those classy T-shirts, and that will be a contribution as well, and we can kind of pull that into some of the things that we need to be able to do when we approach these foundations and some of the other donors. And as I said, it's easy to think of Yellowstone Science and Allied Health Building as really serving allied health and the sciences, but it serves all of us because it will bring, as that video brings out, it'll bring a vibrancy to this campus that's hard to avoid. And it will help us recruit new students. It'll help us recruit faculty and staff. But it'll really help us engage with the community and the business. And that's extremely important to us. So think about it. As I said before, no one's going to hold your feet to the fire on this. But if you can give us $1, you can give us $1 per pay period. If you can give us $1,000 per pay period, great. But it's that you've contributed will really help us in this endeavor as well. Thank you very much. I've gone longer than I wanted to, but the burgers aren't ready for another 10 minutes. But please join us for the picnic out on the patio, and welcome to the 90th year of MSU Billings.